On this week's episode,
Ben Carson in the Sunken Place.
These teachers out here fucking students again.
Would you drink a Bill Cosby special at your favorite bar?
Be careful what you wish for, because what you might get is sextuplets.
Converting from racism to Islam 101.
Lupita and Rihanna are about to be your new favorite co-stars.
Is your child a terrorist? Ask they teacher.
Self-serving, persuasive talkers
of everything and nothing.
We are conversation con artists.
What's going on, people? It's your boy, Mr. On Point.
And I am Calamity Red.
And we are Conversation Con Artists back for another episode. Want to give a shout out to Government Name Podcast, and they know why. But I do wanted to talk about a change that we are trying to experiment with the show. We don't know who to cater to, who to take it away from. So please, if you listen to this show, give us some feedback on that. The show is an hour and 30 minutes long, roughly. What we want to do is split that up into two shorter shows, roughly 2 45-minute shows, maybe a little bit longer than that. So if any of y'all are listening, give us some feedback as to the best way that you like listening to the podcast. I've talked to people who would like to listen to a shorter show. I've talked to people who like shows long as it is, but I just kind of want to take inventory over the month of June to see how splitting the episode up looks. What I'm looking at is Tuesday and Thursday release of the show. So any feedback y'all can give us about that will be fantastic. We won't be doing that until the first episode in June. So this episode will be the full episode, which you'll know because you're going to see the time on it before you even listen to this.
Yes, they will.
Anyway, what I need y'all to do is go check out www.conversationconartist.com. We have our new episodes at the top, our old episodes down the bottom, and you can go hover over the mail icon and leave us some feedback. Subscribe to our newsletter. You can find me at Twitter and Instagram at Mr. MISTER_on point.
And I can be found at red_calamity. Also, we are still doing the listener letter portion of the show. So if you have a question that you would like for us to answer on the show, you can send it in to the website, or you can send it to our Gmail account, which is conversationconartists@gmail.com. We have 2 questions this week.
The ice cream truck is outside of my apartment complex.
It's so loud.
It's a weird combination of being very loud and making me want ice cream.
I don't want ice cream. Well, I can't have it.
You can't eat ice cream.
I don't want to get into that. First question.
Struggles.
Lactose intolerance, man, it's the worst. So the first question is, my husband wants a divorce after 30 years. What do I tell our 2 adult children? Let me just say that this is part of why I don't really watch the Braxton Family Values. Toni Braxton and her sisters, their parents have been divorced for the longest of times. And they are still in their feelings about them getting a divorce. And I just feel like, I feel like when you get older and you understand the dynamics of relationships and you've been in your own unsuccessful ass relationships, I feel like you should have a better grasp of how shit don't work out sometimes, regardless of if they're your parents or not. Like, and that's not to say people ain't gonna be upset because your family dynamic changing is like a big deal, but not as big as them bitches make. Like, they literally like get in their feelings about this divorce, and I think their dad has somebody new now, and they just like, by this time, why y'all still this fucking upset? Y'all act like it happened yesterday. That's how they're upset. They act like their mama called them last night and was like, me and your dad ain't gonna work out, and they dad cheated on their mom, so you thought your mama should have stayed so y'all could be happy? Selfish ass.
Quit acting like your therapist ass don't work with people every day that have deep-seated issues.
I know.
That me and you can't understand.
No.
But for some reason they exist. I think that it makes a difference, the kind of relationship that your parents had and the kind of relationship that you have. Or not even the kind they had, but even how you perceived it. Kids don't give a damn about no cheating. They want their mom and their daddy together.
They're not kids. These grown-ass women with kids of their own.
When
and
they get divorced?
They got divorced when they were kids.
That's what I'm saying. That perception of when they got divorced, their parents' relationship It got frozen in time.
I know, but
That shit done carried on with them.
this situation, they're getting divorced when they're adults. So they're not, they grown already.
That mean they had all of this time to have solidified what they believe their parents' relationship is.
But okay, so my thing is, and this is what I try to get people to understand, a marriage is not between you and your kids. That's a separate thing from your family unit. The marriage is between the mom and the dad. And so regardless of what your perception is, they're the ones who in it. Our perception of a lot of things is off a lot of times because you only see what's shown to you. And I understand. I'm not saying that you shouldn't be upset about it. I completely understand why you would. Your norm and your sense of balance has been knocked off kilter, so I get it. But I would expect adults to respond in a different way than kids. And with the Braxtons, all of them are still upset. It's not like it's like one or two and then some of the rest of them were like, well, I think the brother that never is on the show has a much healthier view of it than the girls do.
And we don't know the relationship that the girls had with their daddy or with their mama.
Yeah.
To know why this shit done carried over so much.
Again, though, all of them have been in and out of shit relationship on the show. So, and y'all have left in situations and you have kids. So, I mean, it's not like y'all were like, oh, okay, well, my parents got divorced, I'm never going to do that. You've had your own situations where things got to bad enough to where you had to walk away from a situation despite what it meant for the kids. I just feel like with age and experience, it should be a little bit different. But it's not. You're right. When you said it got frozen at that moment, that is accurate as fuck. Because they literally act like they are still, 10 years old and the parents divorced and dad moved out. Like, you've been through your own situations where you see that there are times where you just can't stay. Regardless of if you think that that's what's best for the kids, because of your own mental health and your own emotions, you can't stay in that situation. If they had all of these magical relationships and still couldn't understand it, I guess that would be better. But all of them got either been cheated on or they had to leave relationships for one reason or another. Like, none of them are, I don't think, married to the original person that they were married to.
But I don't think that would keep them from feeling a particular way about their parents' divorce.
Not saying they shouldn't. What I'm saying is the strength of which they feel it is what's off to me. Not that they feel, of course they're going to be upset that especially when that's what you got accustomed to growing up as a child. But again, it's like they 10 and it happened yesterday. It hasn't changed at all from the day that it happened, it seems like.
I think what it's going to do mostly in their dynamic is it's going to help them empathize with what their kids is experiencing. I think that's going to be the bulk of how it's going to affect them. Like, it ain't going to be something like they past relationships that have failed. It ain't going to be like, well, I know relationships fail, so I understand my mom and daddy relationship failing. It'll be much easier for them to say, well, I understand this child for how a relationship would fail. I think that's how that would be interpreted. I don't think it would be like, oh, relationships fail because mine have failed, so I understand my mom and daddy getting a divorce. And I think it's like pretty harsh or it's pretty concrete to say that marriage is between the mama and the daddy, as if mom and daddy just live in a vacuum.
Well,
their marriage is what has crafted these children's view of their whole world.
And I understand that, but it's that idea that keeps people in abusive relationships. They keep it in these because they want to stay together for the kids. That don't work. That's why I don't think that looking at a marriage like it involves the kids, because people stay in fucked up situations because of that, and that's not healthy for the kids either, because now the kids have this warped view of relationships because they don't watch you sit and put up with this bullshit for their whole life. So now that's what becomes normal to them.
But we ain't even talking about them staying together for the kids. We talking about them telling the kids, and we talking about an instance where they didn't stay together for the kids. I understand that being a dynamic as to why the adults stay together in a marriage that is need to be separated, but the kids' perception I don't think have much to do with that context.
No, but if you're gonna worry about the kids' perception, that's the kids' perception, and what it will do to them causes people to stay together. So like with the Braxtons, their dad was cheating on their mom, so if to avoid this from happening, what's happened with them, the mom would have had to stay in a relationship where the dad was doing whatever the fuck it was he wanted to do in order so that the kids wouldn't be impacted by it. But then the kids would have been impacted by it in a different way, because they would have gotten older teenager and seen what was going on, and either one felt like that was just, it becomes normal for them. Like, if you're gonna take into, that's why when I say that a marriage is between the two adults, that's the part that I mean. Like, it's not completely concrete, but if you start thinking of it as something that involves the kids, then a lot of people will make the choice to stay together because they don't want it to negatively impact the kids. When the relationship itself is toxic for you, because it's between you and him. And, you know, she's still out here making babies with somebody else and you raising somebody else's child or whatever the fuck the case may be. That part of it is between y'all. And I don't think people should stay for the kids.
Well, I feel like that goes into a different context, because that's talking about before we've made the decision to leave, how do we address the deal with the kids? In the context we talking about, the decisions are made. Now it's a matter of, how do we communicate this to the children if it needs to be communicated to the children? Because maybe mom and daddy divorced. Maybe they just didn't communicate it appropriately to them Braxtons. And maybe that's why they all kinds of fucked up on it. Maybe it was mom and daddy was here one day and the next day they ain't seen daddy in 6 months.
No. They knew that the parents got a divorce. Like, they talked to them about it. And they knew that the parents had been fighting because the daddy was cheating on the mama. Like, I think he was like a pastor, which adds another layer into that.
Shit.
Yeah, their dad was a pastor, which is why they all sing, because they started out singing in the choir. So it wasn't that. It wasn't that his dad just disappeared without an explanation. They knew what was going on.
Well, I mean, that was just my extreme example. It's a lot of ways even communicating with kids that didn't prepare them for it, you know? But being a pastor, I guess, make it seem so much more. It make more sense to me, to be honest, because you got a man that is held in high regard by everybody, and you know, here our family ain't finna be like. Imagine how deeply ingrained the morals and values of marriage was put into all of them kids.
Yeah.
Like, I can see how that can really be a traumatic situation.
To where you're this upset as an adult that they got a divorce, because it's not that. They're not mad. I don't think they're necessarily mad at the dad. They're mad that the parents didn't stay together. It ain't that, you know what I'm saying? Like, they want their parents to still be together. Despite them knowing what led to the demise of this relationship, they would prefer them to still be together.
I think your dialogue seems to implicate one of two things. One thing is that there's nothing that exists that happens as a kid that as an adult you should be angry to this level about, or the context of a mom and dad divorcing shouldn't have as much to do with the kids for them to perceive it at this level.
No, I think my it's probably the former. It's because it's like they've talked. If I felt like they never got a chance to like talk, they've talked this to death with the parents. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's the level of which they're upset that I'm just like, so what can the parents do? At this point, if you're 40 years old and you're still this upset like it happened yesterday, despite the fact that y'all have had numerous conversations, despite the fact that both parents have still showed up to the events in your life and kind of was cordial to each other, made attempts to be anyway, what else could they do for you other than just them deciding to stay together earlier?
Ain't shit that the parents can do for them. They need some counselors,
They do.
some medication, some therapists. That's what they need. And that's what, like, I think that's what a dialogue, you know, is going for us. It's like, yeah, ain't nothing talking to the parents can do for them. They need to talk to somebody that can help them work through this shit, because clearly they psychological state is stuck back where their parents got divorced, and every time they talk about it, it bring up the same emotions and feelings that they had from that period of time in their life.
About it, but I just wonder why the brother's perception is so different than the girls. Like, why they're so much more crazy about it.
Maybe because he's a man, and we know how society, you know, treat men. Maybe he got that shit on the inside, but it's not externalized the way it is for them. Maybe he's getting a significant level of extramarital trim, and you know, so he understand he understand his father's dilemma. You know, it could be so many things for a man in this situation. Or maybe a lot of this shit before the show. Maybe they cut the cameras off and be like, we need y'all to cry more. about this.
Maybe.
This is the thing. We get a lot of views and ratings when y'all talk about your daddy stuff and cry.
I mean, maybe.
Cry some more.
I stopped watching it because of that. Because I was just like, okay, y'all didn't talk this to death at this point. It's seasons in, and y'all still in the same place about this shit. You know, your parents been divorced for years. The daddy then moved on. I think the mom, at the point that I stopped watching, had started back dating. Like, you know, she older, but she was seeing people and they were upset about that shit. So they supposed to die alone because they ain't with each other. Like, I just feel like the grasp of relationships should be a little, like, it's like they've learned nothing from their life experiences. They're still stuck. And it may be for the show. I don't know. But
what if their life experiences is because of that shit? What if the relationships they fucking up is because of they mom and daddy divorce? And maybe every relationship they have, when it fails, it triggers that shit. So they can't get out of it.
I mean, maybe they're all, you have to watch the show.
I'm not going to watch the show.
All of them have different issues within their relationships. Like, one of them had a man that wouldn't work, and she was footing all the bills for the kids and everything, and she was upset about that. One of them had a husband who is like out here doing whatever. He been cheating on her and he been chatting with bitches online and fucking bitches in person, and she was going back and forth between whether or not she wanted to leave and stay. Toni Braxton had that relationship with the dude from one of them groups. Which one of them groups? One of them old boy group. Like, was it? I can't remember.
H-Town, As Yet.
It wasn't.
Jodeci.
No, a little further back. Not Jodeci, I don't think.
Al B. Sure. That
It was not
dude.
Al B. Sure.
That's a dude,
That's
not a
one
group.
dude. Anyway,
Bastard.
they broke up like a while. They've been not together for a while, and they have kids together. Actually, and now she dating Birdman, so she's still with that nigga. I don't understand that, but whatever.
She happy.
Then you had another sister who I don't really know what's with her husband, because it seemed like they were living in different locations.
Tamar was married to the producer, right?
She married to the producer that it seemed like she only married for money. Yeah, they still married.
The only reason I know they married because he looked like a Black Pillsbury Doughboy.
Yep.
And I'm like, he could pull a chick like that.
Cause money.
He got more money than her.
Yeah, he like managed Lady Gaga, and he's like a big time manager. So money is the reason why Tamar was there. Cause it look how like they just had a kid, Vincent Jr., and she's not gonna give him another child. I would be surprised if she got pregnant again at this point. But yeah, so she in that shit, and like, was it last year? The police, there was like a recording of her calling 911 because apparently he gave her a 2-piece upside the head. They still together now though, but
see, this is why I don't fuck with reality shows. You see how quick I done got pulled into this bullshit? That's why I don't fuck with them. I avoid them on purpose. I done started asking questions. I done pulled my little knowledge out there to see what's going on.
yeah.
That's why I don't fuck with them reality show. Y'all can have that shit.
I don't watch that particular one anymore because that shit just got on my nerve. Like every time they would start boohooing, I just was like, oh my God, I can't. So I stopped watching it. I couldn't deal with it. Like the rest of the show was entertaining, but that was so annoying to me that I just couldn't. I couldn't keep watching them boohoo about this divorce from 50 years ago.
So to answer the question, adults that are about to get divorced, what should you tell your kids?
Children.
Your adult children. I wonder how old they are. Is adult like 19 or is adult like, 45?
I mean, if they've been married for 30 years.
Oh, they've been married for 30 years.
Yeah. So the kids probably pretty old.
I think it depends on what kind of relationship you have with your children mostly. If everybody get together and have Sunday dinner every Sunday and everybody's laughing and giggling and the kids are so disconnected from you that they don't understand y'all having problems and they just gonna get this information sprung on them, you gotta handle that shit pretty delicately. Mm-hmm. If it's a family dynamic that is already pretty distant, don't really talk to each other much, the kids pretty much just grew up at the house and then went and did their own thing, probably won't make a difference. You got to take into consideration the different dynamics that your family have before you can make decisions like that, But you shouldn't It shouldn't in any case of getting a divorce, if your relationship is leading you to a path where you shouldn't be with a person, kids shouldn't be a reason that you stay together.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's what a big part of our dialogue before was about. Kids should not be the reason that you stay together. Kids will be fine if you communicate with them what's going on, and both parents are able to still keep a positive influence in those kids' life in terms of co-parenting, which we don't see happen a lot.
Because people ain't fucking mature. Like, my thing, like, if I got a divorce, I'm gonna be upset, right? I'm gonna be upset because my marriage did not work out. I'm not gonna be so upset though that I can't be cordial with you when we need to do stuff for the kids, because I'm gonna want you to still be around, because they're gonna still want you to be around. And you fucking up with me doesn't take away the fact that you may be a phenomenal father and just a shit ass husband. So I would like to think that I would be mature enough to be able to do what we need to do as far as co-parenting the kids. That includes having the same rules in our house, because that shit get on my nerves so bad. I done had so many parents come in where, you know, the dad only gets to see the kids every other weekend, so he ain't got no rules at his house because he want to be the fun dad. Then the other parent get the kid back and got to spend the whole week getting them back acclimated to the fact that, no, you cannot stay up all night. Yes, you are going to do this homework. No, you not going to Susie's house because you got to go to school. Like, getting back, because the other parent is just being so lax because they don't get to see them. I would like to think that I would be mature enough, because that's what's best for the kids. And they already been through having to deal with a divorce. Y'all being petty with each other makes shit so much worse. Like, I would like to think I'm mature enough. Who the fuck knows if I mean, but that's my goal. My goal is to never get divorced, but you know, shit happens. If that happens, I would like to think that I would be able to.
I definitely would be able to.
Mature.
I don't think that'll be an issue. I think what'll probably be difficult for me is I want my kids to be with me, but I also wouldn't want to take my kids from their mama. That would be a dilemma for me if I ever had a divorce. Like, I would hold the woman who buried my child in utmost respect, that if she wanted the children, she could have them. But I think it'll be very, very difficult for me, having built a life living with kids, to now not be able to live with them. I think that shit will be very difficult for me. And I know it's difficult for a lot of people I know, but I think that would fuck with me real bad.
Yeah.
So I never saw my mom. I was too young to know what divorce was when my mom and my daddy got divorced, because they pretty much got divorced because he went to jail, and he had a lifetime bid. Like, he was supposed to be in jail forever.
That's a good reason.
Yeah, and so he got out after 11 years. Got married the day he got out, mind you. Women don't go to the jail looking for your husband. Not saying it's a bad idea. I'm saying it's a terrible idea.
I was just going to say, it's the worst. Don't do that.
And so don't know much about that, but I had 2 stepfathers. And I just want to add this about stepfathers. Mothers, when you get a divorce from stepfathers, you need to take your child out and celebrate. Okay? Not for yourself, but for that child. Because you made your child endure a whole bunch of shit that a dude that you consider the too assholish to stay married to divorce. You made your kid listen to him. You made your kid do stuff that he made him do. You made that kid go help him in the yard. You made that kid endure this person that you discovered was an asshole, because you tried to be optimistic. You tried to have hope in that person. You tried to believe that that person was the best person they could be. They was an asshole to your kid, and when your kid told you, you weren't trying to hear that shit because that's your husband. So if you decide to leave a stepfather and you got kids, you need to give that kid something. You need to retro pay. You need to go back. You owe that kid some fucking reparations for this marriage, is all I'm saying. Okay? That's important. But the overarching message is, listen to your kids. Don't take that shit with a grain of salt. Address that shit, because it's some stepfathers out here that treat kids like shit in the shadows. Some of them out here that treat kids like shit in the light. Yeah. You definitely need to leave his ass. But that's my stepdaddy stories as it pertains to divorce. Divorces as it pertains to stepdaddy, most times I believe are a cause for celebration for everybody. You just got out of some bullshit. Your kid just got out of some bullshit. People don't look at it like that. You know, relationships are not vacuums. Your kids are experiencing bullshit vicariously through you experiencing bullshit. Like, I've been sitting up in a room with my mama where she was crying because of shit my stepdaddies did. I don't know that nigga. I don't like that nigga. If murder wasn't illegal, I kill that nigga.
Yeah.
And if I had the resources to get rid of his body would be gotten rid of. And I'd be like, what happened to stepfather? Where did he go? We haven't seen him in 3 days.
Oh my God.
That's how I felt about my stepdad. They were just horrible, horrible people with very, very little redeeming qualities for me to value them the way that my mama valued them. Mm-hmm. And she probably valued them mostly out of a lot of her own insecurities and her rejection of loneliness at the time. You know what I'm saying? So celebrate with your kids when you leave a nigga. That's all.
That's hilarious. Okay.
But
so
not their daddy.
The next thing, I'm going to read this text message exchange. This was not mine, but it's between a man and a woman.
Okay. I have not heard this.
All right. So she says, frustrated trying to come up with extra money because got rent money order and internet bill money, but forgot about something else, and I used that extra money on my son and gas. He says, dang, I'm sure you'll come up with something. She said, yeah, that's why I don't entertain dudes. No point in having one around. He said, laugh out loud. Wait, what did that have to do with anything? She says, your comment back reminds me why I don't entertain or try to talk to dudes. He said, I barely even know you. I'm just supposed to be like, hey, here you go. Go handle that. She was like, okay, don't text me, please. Thank you.
What?
She wanted him to offer her money, and he didn't.
Good for him. Shit.
But so what I guess I wanted to talk about was just situations where women feel entitled to things because some women, not all women, because I don't do that shit, but some women do, like, feel like, well, he's going out with me, so like, but they're not gonna ask you directly. They're gonna say this is what's going on so that you'll be like, hey, here's $500, handle that.
Men created that. Men created that monster. T.I., it ain't tricking if you got it. T.I. really got it. Like, he didn't define what got it mean.
He did not.
Got it means you got multiple cars. Mm-hmm. Got it means that you can not work for a whole year and still pay for whatever you need to pay for. Like, T.I.'s version of got it is different than these dudes' version of got it.
Yes.
These dudes' version of got it is I just got my check. Is I just got paid on Friday. Is I got my income taxes. That's what God it is for these dudes. So you got dudes out here on the plenty of fish level tricking out here for these women, and so they sending me messages talking about some, yeah, just don't have rent. All right then. What you gonna do after that? I got some homeless shelter resources if you need them. I'm a therapist. I know where they at. I know where you can go. Children and you folks, there might be some drug use around the environment, but you know they try to keep it out of the facility.
I hate when people do that shit. Like, don't drop hits with me. That makes me angry. I had a friend that let's see, how can I? She gave up custody of her children to go do something that she wanted to do, which I thought was a stupid idea, and anybody with any common fucking sense knows it's a stupid idea. You gonna give custody to a nigga you say you can't stand just so you can go be 20 something and you in your 30s. I digress. So she ends up not fulfilling what she ran out here to do. Comes back, get the kids on she get visitation now because she gave up custody. So they're visiting with her, and she was it text message. She texted me and was like, yeah, man, asked me how I was doing. I never hear from her. So I was like, oh, okay, I'm cool. How are you? Well, you know, just trying to figure out what I'm going to do because I got the kids this week and, you know, I don't have enough money. And so I was just like, oh, dang, well, you think about calling your mama or, seeing if their dad can help you out. He ain't gonna help because he won't, he like for me to be struggling because he hates me and all of this. And I was like, well, I like him. Like, you'll figure it out. And she like stopped saying anything. And what it is I know that I was supposed to be like, oh girl, I'll help you with your kids. Them ain't my damn kid. Guess what? I don't have no kids because I can't afford no kids. So I didn't run out hand on niggas. And then for you to say that you don't have enough money for your kids sound crazy to me, because this is something you should be planning for all the time. They're your kid. That's like a permanent situation. That ain't no temporary shit. Like, I hate when people do that shit. Like, if you all come out and ask me, you will be out here fucked up. If you think I'm gonna take a hint and be like, hey,
listen, it's one of two ways old people that haven't been in your life and don't communicate with you come back into your life. One of two ways: to borrow money or to do some old bullshit pyramid scheme shit.
Oh yeah.
Hey, wake up now. Hey, you should be here. Hey,
tell
all
you
them
about
little
this deal.
Yeah, them travel schemes. Like, those are the reasons old people come out the woodworks. Like, I had this dude I used to work with at Papa John's. And, we was real cool. And he always been about his business. And he came out of nowhere and asked me to borrow money. And I'm like, you know what? I got money. I valued our relationship before. He said he gonna give it back. Cool. Let him borrow the money. What I feel like to him I became is a cash cow, somebody he can come to every time he need money and not pay him back. Because the next time he came to me, he was like, I need, $150. And I was like, no, you in debt. You in debt, brother. And I'm not a loan shark. If you want $150 more, you got to go to a cash loan place. but me, I need my $100 back before I can invest in you. Like, that $100 was an investment in trust. I trusted you to pay me back. You didn't pay me back. So now I can no longer support whatever it is you need this money for.
Yeah.
But men, it ain't exclusively men's fault, but men being the ones in power over the oppressed group of women have created the rules.
I don't understand people that I don't like feeling like I owe people something. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't like that feeling of like being in debt to somebody. I also don't trust niggas that I don't really know to not be like, I gave you that money, so now we're gonna get to this, but I can't trust him not to give me a Bill Cosby special at happy hour now because he feel like I gave her all this money. I need some return on my money. Like, I don't trust people enough, I guess.
Well, what a woman like that is looking for is somebody to scam. That's just a scam. She's on Plenty of Fish or whatever message exchange with 20 dudes.
Yeah.
And she's doing that with all 20 dudes. And she's hoping that some of them dudes is going to come through
and
with the loot.
some of them will come through with the loot.
It's the same thing. Like, it's the same thing for sex. For men want sex day one with that. And those kind of women want money day one. Like... If y'all both want that, you gotta pay and you gotta give sex. That's just how it gotta happen on day one. Otherwise, you gotta get to know a person. You gotta communicate with a person.
How you gonna get mad at him because he didn't even say nothing fly out of the way? He was like, I'm sure you'll work it out.
Well, see, this is the thing. I say men created that culture, but like those men.
Oh,
the
no,
chicken if you got
meant.
it men.
Yeah.
So what's happening is those women who are talking to the ain't
trickin' if
you got it men are creating a culture of those men being so much more resistant to that kind of dialogue, to the what can you get for me. Even we need to go out to dinner. We need to go out to dinner, but we going Dutch. That's what we doing. I'm putting that out immediately. You know what I'm saying? Like,
anytime I go on a date, my mom always told me, make sure you have money to pay for your food. And that's something that I've always stuck to, because if I get there and you decide that, we gonna go there, if it's not something that we discussed beforehand, because like I have friends who always assume like, oh, he gonna pay for me to eat. Is he? Like, okay, because what you gonna do if he don't? Cause now you got to pay for this food some kind of way.
If I invite you somewhere, I'm going to try to pay.
Not everybody like that though.
What I'm saying, that's me. If we go somewhere, I'm going to pay.
Mm-hmm.
That's the plan. But like I went to an ice cream shop with somebody the other day, and I was gonna pay for the ice cream. It was $3, so I paid for the ice cream. She wasn't comfortable with that, and I'm fine with that.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna press it because some people don't like taking things from people. Especially women don't like taking things from men.
Yep.
Women don't like to feel that men have some kind of leverage over them.
Yep.
And some women they can do it on their own, so they don't need a man to do that. And I don't try to portray that I want to do that or I need to do that or I have to do that. I'm doing it because I'm a man and you're a woman. You know, in most instances I do it because I invited you to this place and I'm gonna pay. And I pay for early dinners because I feel like men should invest early in the relationship for what they're going to get from women later in the relationship. I feel like men always need to invest as much as they can, but like in the beginning, in the courting phases, I think the responsibility and leverage need to be on the men to nurture what a woman can feel about him. You know, that being said, if I go out with you 2 or 3 times and it just seemed like that's a
all
free
you
meal,
want,
we're
you
not
just
going
wanna
out
go.
no more. You know what I'm saying?
I got friends that do that shit. If I don't like you, I'm not gonna go out with you. Like I'm not gonna just go out with you to get a free meal because I feel like that's really fucked up. But I have friends that do that will go out with somebody that they know they're not interested in or they know they don't find attractive just so they can get a free meal.
Well, I mean, I ain't doing it. I mean, if I feel like you just getting free meals, the next step for me, if I still, want to be in your circle, is we going to parks. I'll invite you over here if I happen to be cooking something for myself already and it's going to be enough for you too. That's them the routes I'm taking next. It's like, clearly restaurant life ain't the life I need to practice with this person versus this person don't have a problem with paying for their own food, and it's not like it's a burden on me because I don't make the kind of decisions to go to spend money at places that I can't afford to go to. Like if we go to a restaurant, you can get whatever you want on the menu. I'm fully prepared for that. You know, clearly I understand human behavior enough to know when you're taking advantage of the situation.
If you go get a load of lobster.
Exactly. Like, how many times you been here and how many times you done ordered lobster? Because I have a feeling this is the first time you've ordered lobster if you've been here before.
It is because she ain't paying. I always try to get something. I never go to like the highest thing on the menu. I rarely will get like a steak because steaks are, or if I get a steak, it's going to be like the lower end. Cause I don't like feeling like, even if that's not my intent, I don't want it to ever be perceived that I'm trying to take advantage of somebody. So like, I'm conscious of these things when I'm making those kind of decisions. So I would never go out on a date and order lobster.
If
we stay together for a while and it's like anniversary, I'm getting the fuck out of that lobster. But like early on, I just don't feel like I should be asking you to invest like that much in a situation that neither one of us know if it's gonna, like, how it's gonna turn out.
If I take you to somewhere where the highest thing on the menu is $40, I'm prepared to pay for it. Otherwise, like I would have took you to Bonefish Grill.
Yeah.
And I'm prepared to pay $40. If I was prepared to pay a max of $30, I would have took you to Red Lobster. If I was prepared to pay a max of $20, I took you to Applebee's.
2 for $20.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if I was prepared to pay around $10, $11, I'd take you to a little Mediterranean grill in the area.
Oh, yeah.
Like, there are different places I can choose to go that will cap how much I will spend. Them the kind of decisions I make. I don't take you somewhere where it got all these options and limit your options. I wouldn't do that. I would just go to somewhere where the most expensive thing is $8.99. So whatever. And it ain't like it ain't McDonald's. Like it's Purple Onion. You know what I'm saying? It ain't McDonald's, but it's still like it's the place that everybody here say go to.
Oh yeah.
When
Purple
you hear, so
Onion
it's like
is
it's
the
cheap.
bomb.
So it's like, Purple Onion is a place where we could go have a good conversation, and everything costs less than $10.
Them baker potatoes are amazing. That barbecue chicken, this shit is amazing.
So like, don't change up how the experience is when you there. Don't limit. Just don't go places that have the option to spend that much money. Like, dudes get caught so much in trying to show externally that they have it going on
but
somehow.
You don't. Like, not to that extent sometimes. Because it ain't cute if you got to stay and wash dishes because you couldn't pay.
Listen, man, the way you get a woman, the way you get a woman is the way you got to keep her.
Yep.
Okay? You might as well be your purple onion self.
Yep.
And if she accept you for that, she'll definitely enjoy you in them other places when you upgrade.
Yep. And if she can't accept purple onion, then you need to leave that bitch alone. Anyway, purple onion is amazing.
And purple onion is our local place. It just represents somewhere in your area that is like a low cost place to eat.
Yeah.
That's like a hometown environment.
But it's nicer than like McDonald's.
Yeah, it's not fast food.
Yeah, purple onion is like Mediterranean, Greek type food.
And women, if you need a man to take you somewhere fancy to show you that he knows how to wine and dine, he might be all right with that. But as far as I'm concerned, your ass can go. Leave. Go find him. I ain't the one. I take women to good restaurants when I want a good ass steak from that restaurant. Yeah. You know, most of the time. It don't be because I'm trying to show you off. It ain't because I'm trying to show you that I got it like that. It be like, look, I need a J. Alexander steak today. If you're going with me, come on. If you're not, I'm getting a steak anyway. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So if you ever get a text message exchange like that, run quickly in the opposite direction. Cause that bitch was, how you gonna get mad at him because he was being optimistic about your situation, but wasn't offering you money, and y'all don't even. That's why I don't have no dude in my life. You is absolutely right. That attitude is exactly why you don't have a dude in your life.
Now, if you want to be a new enrollee in Mr. On Point School of Petty,
here we go with this.
What
shit.
you gonna do is at the very end of that conversation that they had, be like, "Oh, I didn't understand what you meant. I'll send you money to Walmart through Western Union," and have her go take her ass to Walmart and wait and delete and block her number, delete and block her profile. She at Walmart now.
Just wait.
Hood winked than a motherfucker.
Joe Petty ass.
Bamboozled.
Oh my God. If y'all have a question that you would like for us to answer on the show, you can send it in to our website or our Gmail account, which is conversationconartist@gmail.com. You want to talk about these teachers out here fucking students?
Yep.
I got two stories. Same situations, though. These fuck ass teachers. And one story. And here's what. And I've talked about this before, like the double standard of this situation, because the comments under the stories vastly different. Okay, so let's start with the 15-year-old, and like I think she's 33-year-old. So a 33-year-old woman was caught having sex at 2:00. Well, giving head to a 15-year-old at 2 a.m. in the backseat of her car. Police called her. She told the police he was trying to seduce her. His pants were down, ma'am. That's not a valid excuse. I wasn't doing anything. He was trying to seduce me. Well, explain why you got this little nigga out at 2:00 in the morning in the back of your car with his pants down. That doesn't, him trying to seduce you. Like, why would you agree to meet up with a 15-year-old at 2 a.m.? But so fucked up situation. But underneath the comments, niggas was like, I wish my teachers was this fine when I was 15, and oh, that little nigga getting head from this. Like, big upping this 15-year-old, which I just find so fucked up. That lady preyed on him. He's 15.
That's the society we live in.
It's so fucked up. Because on the flip side, you got this grown-ass man in another state who is caught on camera giving a 10-year-old boy candy for kisses. So he get a little boy a piece of candy every time he kisses the little boy to keep him from, I guess, telling about what was. And who the fuck knows what else would have happened had them not caught him, because I'm sure that was just a prelude to what was to come. Now, under that story, he's disgusting, he's terrible, he's the worst kind of person ever. He should be locked up and killed and all of this shit. But the woman giving hand to the 15-year-old,
I mean, as it pertains to sex in our society and the roles of men and women in sex, I think sex is perceived as something that men do to women. Mm-hmm. You know? And so even if it is a young boy that is participating in the sexual act, I think the perception that those men have is that you're doing this to this woman. You know what I'm saying?
Instead of her doing it to him because he's 15.
Well, I mean, the line drawn is age. You know what I'm saying? Like, the line, that's the only line drawn. If he was 16, it wouldn't be preyed upon. The only really in a state where 16 is legal age.
But if it was reversed, she could be 16 and it'd be a grown man and it would still be like, oh my God, he's disgusting. Why would he be fucking with this 16-year-old girl, even though it may be legal in the state and it isn't considered? It's still gonna be viewed differently.
But I think that's the double standard. And the double standard ain't gonna change. It's like, because sex is something that men do to women, even when a young man does it to an older woman and was preyed upon, it's approached with less intensity. But because sex is already something that men do to women, when an older man does it to a younger woman, oh man, the gap of intensity is huge. Because not only did a man that does this thing to woman do it, but he manipulated somebody. But I also think that goes into the oppression of women. That goes into how just naturally helpless we believe women are. How naturally that a woman automatically was preyed upon, you know, even if she might have made that decision herself.
So fucking
you know,
ridiculous.
and then the age gap keeps us from being able to even give that person the opportunity to make that decision in a lot of instances. You know, like, even if they are of age, even if they were 16 and 16 is the age of consent, and the man is 50, we still won't allow that 16-year-old to have been able to make that decision. Nope. We still gonna blame that 15-year-old. And in a lot of cases, even if that person was 20 and a 50-year-old or 25 and a 50-year-old, we still have that stigma on age as it pertains to sexual interaction.
With women, though.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, that's the double standard.
It's so fucking ridiculous because I find both of those stories equally as disturbing. This is a grown-ass 33-year-old woman who's married and got kids, and she out here fucking with her students. And who's to say he the first student she done did this to? Like, it irritates me so much. Like, I had so many people on my timeline talking about, I wasn't this lucky when I was in school. Like, I had a crush on a teacher, and I wish I would have been able to get her. Like,
the idea that sex is something that men do to women is what creates that dialogue. The idea that he believes that he would be the one seducing his teacher, even in all of those instances. That 15-year-old boy probably thought like that too. The 15-year-old boy probably thought like that too.
He did. Yeah, he probably. I'm sure, telling all his friends. Here's my thing about adults that do this shit. You work at a school. Like, let's forget about the fact that it's icky. Let's just talk about the fact that you work among these young people, and you know that all they do all day is talk. So how do you really think that you're going to be able to carry on a sexual relationship with this 15-year-old and it never come out? That he going to keep his mouth shut and it'll never come out? He can't. He's 15. He's going to brag about this to his friends.
Well, either this was the first time all of this happened, or he was keeping his mouth shut and they just got caught because they was a suspicious vehicle out on the road.
I mean, I feel like it probably was in the beginning stages. Like, I feel like they not going to keep quiet. They not. They going to tell somebody. And then that person either going to be mad that it ain't them, or that they're going to be like, oh my God, that shouldn't be happening. And it's going to get around and eventually get back. I feel like this is probably a situation where it was just kind of starting off, maybe, and they got caught because, and then you park somewhere at 2 o'clock in the morning. What was his pain? Did he just sneak out the house? Or how he get out of the house?
15-year-olds do that shit all the time.
Not my 15-year-old. My 15-year-old going to be the fuck in the house at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Not if they sneak out and your ass don't know.
Oh, okay. So you saying he may have snuck?
I'm saying that it's a bunch of ways for a kid to be somewhere at 2 o'clock that you can't control unless you got his ass chained up.
The shit out
then
there,
DHR
nigga.
come to take your kids. Well, depending on how you beat the shit out of them, DHR gonna come and take your damn kids then.
I ain't gonna leave no marks.
Oh, you gonna be one of them, huh?
I ain't gonna leave no
you
marks.
Gonna keep your kids from school. Well, not leaving marks is appropriate discipline. You know what I'm saying? Like, hiding marks. You getting your kids took away.
Oh yeah,
keeping them out of school and shit. That's a problem.
Out of school. Well, in this case, she needed to keep his little ass out of school because school is where he was getting into trouble.
Listen, if your 15-year-old kid out getting hair from a teacher, You failed somewhere along the lines.
Did I fail?
I don't know.
How? How did the parent fail?
So should every 15-year-old gonna go out here and get hair from their teacher?
No.
Well, what's the variable?
I
Is
don't
the variable
know.
what you've learned about that kind of stuff? I personally feel like
with the okay, you just said the way that our society standards are when it comes to boys, men, and sex. I don't feel like every 15-year-old gets the opportunity to make the decision about whether or not they want to do this. Like, I don't think that this is a dilemma that comes up for every 15-year-old. So I don't think it's a question of where the ones who have better parenting are going to say no and the ones who got some issues with the parenting in the house going to say yes. I think it's a situation where probably one, the teacher saw something in him that she knew he would be with it. Like, I feel like most 15-year-olds that were presented with this opportunity, regardless of how good the parenting is, they hormonal as fuck. And she's an attractive teacher, an adult. Like, I feel like that would have been a difficult decision for any 15-year-old to make, even if he had the greatest of parenting.
Well, let me say this. I believe that there is a difference in a young boy raised by the dudes making the comments under the video talking about, I wish that was me.
Yeah.
And boys that were raised by dudes saying, that's disgusting. No adult should take advantage of a child. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And me and you both know that there are an abundance of those men out there that's glorifying these things to the point that if they 15-year-old was in that situation, they might look at it and be like, okay, this is happening. It's finna happen.
Yeah.
My daddy gonna be proud of me.
Yeah.
Type shit. So,
but I feel like even if you had it, because I mean, if you have kids that are raised in great households that make stupid ass decisions, I think but here he 15, and like if an older attractive woman is hitting on a 15-year-old, regardless of the fact that, because a lot of times when we talk to kids about like adults not touching them, we look at it more like young kids, 15-year-olds think they fucking half grown anyway. So I feel like you could have a child that grew up in a household where the parents were very forward about like these situations and how that ain't cool, but when faced with it and you hormonal and horny and this beautiful teacher is like trying to get at you, I don't know. That's part of the reason why she fucked up for preying on a kid. His prefrontal cortex is not developed enough for him to be like, this is wrong. Yes, I'm hard, but I shouldn't do this.
well, that contrasts with your kid being one that wouldn't be doing this. You saying that 15-year-olds probably gonna get hair from teachers.
If offered.
So you ain't gonna be able to do it. Your kid gonna be getting head from their teacher.
And I'm gonna fuck that teacher up.
Except it's just gonna be at 6 o'clock when don't nobody ask no questions instead of 2 in the morning because your kid gonna be smarter than this nigga.
When I find out, I'm gonna have a conversation with him, but the teacher, it's gonna be a problem.
You ain't gonna do shit.
You crazy as shit. Over my child? Yes. I will go to jail over a kid. My kid specifically. Yes. You disgusting as fuck. You gonna prey on my son because you unhappy at home or because you got whatever the fuck it is that you got going on. No. Nope.
But that's always a problematic dialogue with me.
What?
The dialogue of I'm gonna do something to this person because they did it to my kid.
Why is it problematic?
Because now your ass in jail.
Well,
and the teacher in the classroom next door giving your kid head now, and you can't protect them now because you took yourself out the picture.
You think that it's two teachers at the school?
No, what I'm saying is the dialogue about when men, when a daughter, something happened to a daughter, and a lot of men be like, I kill him, I'll do this to him, I'll do this to him. Well, what you're saying is that you're going to put yourself in a position to be removed out of this young girl's life that needs you there to protect her. You can't protect her from over exaggerating in this one moment and killing this man or putting yourself in a position to go to jail.
Die.
She won't die.
No.
Attempted murder, you still go to jail for half your damn life.
I keep it to where it'll be an assault level. And I feel like I'd probably get away with it considering the fact that she fucked my child.
You're not going to get away with
We'll
it.
see. I guess we're going to... Hopefully we never have to find out because hopefully my kids ain't the kid that teachers be trying to fucking prey on. Because again, I think the variable is the fact that every kid is not faced with this dilemma. Every kid, you went to school, your whole school career never had a teacher approach you. Every dude that I know in my life went to school their entire career and never had a teacher approach them to try to fuck them. Like, I don't think it happens enough to say that the variable is going to be the parenting. I think it's kids don't be faced with. This is not like a normal thing that a child is to be faced with.
Well, a variable I'm going to introduce is that there are some kids that are fucking sociopathic and
Yeah.
charismatic
Yeah.
enough to be the ones that can draw that parent, that adult in, depending on the personality type and
Of the
profile of that
parent.
adult.
Yeah, and that's
now,
still-
that's not to say that it's acceptable, but that's just to say that there's a lot of layers on this stuff. Like
Yeah.
Ted Bundy. Ted Bundy was so charismatic, he probably could have fucked some of his teachers if he wanted to.
Probably.
You know what I'm saying?
But
I mean,
just-
instead
what?
he chose to fuck their bodies, but, you know, to
My
each his
thing
own.
is, I have never. I work with like teenage boys, and some of them are very charismatic, and some of them, you know, I have to get together about like what this situation is and what it isn't, because I look younger and look more around. You know what I'm saying? So I ain't never had a situation where I was like, whoo, that little 15-year, like, I don't understand that. Like, I don't give a fuck how he's still 15 at the end of the day. So there's something wrong with you.
That's what I'm saying. Yes,
that
it's
you are
definitely-
able to be susceptible to a
that-
charismatic
I mean,
15-year-old.
It's an endless number of variables that could create a person with the kind of personality that can be easily swayed by somebody that's even a young person.
That
you know what I'm
is so
saying? Like,
ridiculous.
it's unfortunate. I mean, if a 15-year-old was selling lemonade, they could get some people to come buy lemonade that wasn't gonna buy lemonade beforehand.
Yeah, I mean, to support- that's
well,
for me to support.
in some extreme circumstances, as we see, and I believe that can happen. I'm
I
not saying that's the
mean-
case, but I mean, I don't know. It's just hard for me to see.
These situations will definitely be prosecuted differently. I feel like that
They definitely gonna be
dude-
prosecuted differently.
The dude and the 10-year-old is gonna get way harsher of a punishment than this teacher with this 15-year-old.
It's just hard for me to say. I mean, it's just hard for me to think that as soon as a teacher get her class, she'd be like, "I'm gonna fuck that boy on row 3, seat 2." You know what I'm saying? It's just hard for me to think that a teacher does that. But like,
But think about how, I mean, if at 15, you see this child for this amount of time, like once a day for the duration of a school year. That is not a lot of amount. Like, to me, that is not enough time for you to get so sucked in that you fucking a 15-year-old. Because this is during a school calendar year, and you're 15, so that means he's going to different class. So this means you see this boy for like 50 minutes a fucking day, and in those 50 minutes for however long the school year is, you got so enthralled to this 15-year-old that at the end of the school year, you get caught in an empty parking lot in the back seat with him giving him head by the police. And now your whole teaching career is out the window. You finna serve time. Your marriage probably over. Your kids got to deal with the fact that they mom is out here fucking students. Like, that's just crazy to me. Same way with this motherfucking pedophile with the 10-year-old boy. You got this boy in your class, and you just get so enthralled with this 10-year-old that you're like, you know what? I'm gonna get some candy.
that ain't even the biggest problem in this case to me.
With the one with the boy?
Yeah, that ain't even the biggest problem. The biggest problem is he had been making real creepy requests from the school. You know what I'm saying? He was requesting for specific kids to be in his class and shit. And the school had cameras, but they positioned the camera in his class specifically to catch this. How long was the school gonna wait?
Fuck.
I mean,
God damn.
they was waiting. They should have fired his ass for being creepy as shit. Like, were they waiting for him to be fucking a boy in the damn
I
janitor's
guess
closet?
so.
That was my biggest issue. Like, what levels of how you protect kids show up? They had to see this man on camera giving a boy a kiss.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They could have missed that opportunity.
And that just goes back. See, this, shit like this make me want to homeschool my kids, which I know is not good because they need the social interaction that school provides. But it's like, you teach your kid about bad touches and good touches, but like, would you think to be like, kisses are included in that? Like, they should be kissing you and giving you candy.
Well,
like,
you should definitely know who shouldn't be kissing you. It definitely shouldn't be your fucking teachers. I think you need to teach kids about your personal space, your personal bubble. This is your bubble.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody should come into your bubble if you're not comfortable with them coming into your bubble.
But a 10-year-old who getting candy
What I'm
might
saying.
become comfortable now because I want this candy.
Well,
10,
first
first off, 10 is pretty old to be falling for the old candy trick.
Well,
ain't
first
it?
off, strangers got the best candy. Okay,
That is fucking
That is just
terrible.
true. And you could go buy you a Hershey bar from CVS And it's good, but it ain't better than a stranger's Hershey bar. Okay?
And that could be taken so many different ways, and that's gross.
I'm just saying. But so maybe a 10-year-old will fall for, but I feel like if you give your child a base of knowing when your bubble is and what's comfortable, they'll at least know when they're uncomfortable. Don't do it. Now, if you ain't taught your child that you shouldn't be willing to sell your ass for a piece of candy, then see, you got other issues. But the base of that needs to be boundaries. The second need to be appropriate touches, appropriate interaction between power dynamics, because the issue in school is a power dynamic.
Yeah.
Because even if you teach your kid that shit, a part of you also teach your kid to do what they say at school.
Yeah.
So if the damn teacher say do this and it infringe on that bubble personal space, but they still supposed to be doing what the teacher say do, your kid fucked up.
I would like to say he was not selling his ass. He was selling kisses. He was selling kisses.
Listen, it's kisses off camera. It's ass in the janitor's closet off camera. Okay? That's what I'm saying. Like, we don't know how far this would have got with the school.
But again, a 10-year-old, I don't feel like it's going to be like, well, if I do this, he going to expect more. He's just going to be like, well, shit, let me get this kid.
Did you know that they have
fast.
gummy bears the size of babies? Mm-hmm. If he bought that motherfucker to school, you think that kid wouldn't be giving up no ass in the janitor's closet?
For a gummy bear? I hope not.
No, not for a gummy bear. For a gummy bear the size of a small fucking human. That's what I'm saying. Like, you know they got like 10-pound Hershey bars out here?
Yeah, I've seen it. The gummy bear would get me. I don't eat chocolate. So.
Of course it wouldn't get you, but it would get a 10-year-old in the janitor's closet giving up ass for candy.
I hate you so much.
I'm just
Why
saying.
do you have to like put it in those terms? I hate you.
Because kids are immature. They don't know
They
shit.
are.
And the wrong one, that kid is a kid that don't know no better than the kids they teach you.
Yeah.
Because I would have knew better than to be seen kissing the teacher in school.
But they
from
weren't.
other peers.
But
he was the only one in the class?
It was on camera. Yeah. He wasn't in front of the students.
I didn't see nobody else. I wasn't paying attention.
That wasn't nobody else in there.
Oh shit, no.
So he wasn't doing it in front of his peers. He was doing it in the quietness of this empty ass room to get this candy.
Hell no. Look, I ain't saying don't let your kids eat candy.
Hey, guess what? As much as my ass eat candy, my kids gonna have plenty. You don't need to get no fucking candy from nobody. There's plenty in the pantry. Just gonna get you some.
You need to fuck the candy component. You need to teach your kids that
don't give up ass.
Don't give up ass for nothing. And ass means kisses too to grown motherfuckers that don't supposed to be touching you. What you need to be is like, listen, kids, don't have this kind of interaction with your teachers because you don't want mom and daddy to go to jail.
That's what's
gonna happen. Okay, you will lose your family. Traumatize them, fuck them up.
Because the younger my child, it like 15, and a female teacher fucking my son, I will whoop her ass, and I would get an assault charge. My 5-year-old, and you doing shit, I feel like and you might die. I might go in with the idea of I'm just gonna assault you, and you might die accidentally because I went too far. Like, I know, like, sitting here that's not the solution and that we should let the courts handle it and blah blah blah. But you done fucked my child up now, because now I got to deal with the repercussions of what your actions has done to this child who was perfectly fine before. I did my job as a parent to make sure that I was raising a well-rounded kid, and then here your bitch ass pedophile ass come fucking my shit up. So now I'm gonna fuck your shit up, because now that don't go away because you get locked up. I still got to deal with this child potentially having nightmares, potentially having issues as they grow from this. And of course, I'm going to get them counseling and do all the things that I can do from my end, but it don't change the fact that this is now a permanent part of my child because you are a fucking disgusting ass human being. And because of that, I don't know. Maybe I'll be able to get talked out of it before I run off to where they at and fuck them up. Maybe I'll be serving some time in jail. I hope not. But rationally, I know that that's not the answer. But like, I just feel like, because I've seen what child molestation does to people, that's a lifelong thing. You have to deal with that your whole life. Like, it don't end with the event. It doesn't end with somebody coming in and rescuing you. That is something that you have to deal with forever. And because I know that, I'm gonna have to fuck you up now because I don't want you to serve 10 years and get out. Because guess what? My kid's not gonna serve 10 years. My kid's gonna have this lifelong issue now. My kid gonna always have these memories now. It's a life term for him. So guess what? It should be a life term for you too, motherfucker.
Perhaps.
So that would be difficult for me, I think. Especially because of the power dynamic between like a 5-year-old and this grown ass man. Again, the 15-year-old and the 33-year-old, I'm gonna be upset about that. But to prey upon like a little, like I just
with kids that young, it turns out to be, you know, a monitoring issue, which is the biggest fucking situation when it happens from a person that you thought you could trust.
Yep.
And you end up not being able to trust them.
Yep.
You know, because most of this shit happened between family members
and people that you know.
Yeah, like, so it's not shit that you really expect, but you end up having to deal with. Ben Carson out here tripping. It ain't like he hadn't been tripping at any point in us knowing him in the limelight. Like, he was doing some good ass shit when we didn't know who the fuck he was. Yep. When he was a surgeon. Mm-hmm. But this shit making me think surgery easy as fuck. Like, that's what Ben Carson is making me, that's how he's making me feel. Like, how the fuck hard
could it be if
it's
this
brain
nigga
surgery
able to do it?
if Ben Carson out here bullshitting? But what Ben Carson said was that poverty is largely a state of mind. He said if you take a person that has everything and take it all away from them, they get everything back. If you take a person that has a mentality to the right mentality, you can take everything from them and they can get it right back. If you put another person with a mentality that have the wrong mentality, you give them everything and they'll be right back to nothing.
Ben Carson is in the Sunken Place.
He is.
And if you haven't seen Get Out, you're not gonna understand that reference. If you have, you're gonna totally understand. He's most definitely in the Sunken Place. I think he stopped doing surgery and ran into the wrong motherfucker, and he been in the Sunken Place ever since. Because that is the most ridiculous, that takes away from the black experience in America. That takes away from the fact of what being born into poverty looks like and how getting out of it is so difficult. And Ben Carson, did he grow up poor?
Yeah.
Nigga, so that mean that you know lots of people who made an attempt. You were lucky enough to get out. You acting like you got out because you so amazing.
Yeah, he isolating himself to make it seem like he just somebody with the right mentality.
No.
And got out because of him. When he used all of these programs that the current administration are cutting to be there. And the thing, this is my thing. What Ben Carson said ain't wrong, but it don't have shit to do with poverty.
Nope.
You know, it do have stuff to do with the individual temperaments that a person has and their individual habits and maybe their upbringing, but you can't ascribe that to a whole culture of poverty. Poverty in the black community is because motherfuckers couldn't live where business thrived, you know, once they were freed as slaves, even long after that. Black people have been thwarted from real estate areas that the business is like
shit. That's happening with schools. Do you see what's happening in Gardendale where they're trying to rezone it?
They rezone in Gardendale because they bus in kids from more prominent black areas. Because it's a county school, they want to be a city school so that they can not have those kids bust in. And the judge only granted it because they thought that the school would take it out on the black kids if they were forced to continue to be bussed in. So I understand that rationale, but I don't think I would have done it.
Yeah.
Because the black kid that's bussed in, they just feel like because this is such massive legislation, she felt like it would be a threat to them to keep that. But Ben Carson and people like Ben Carson that continue to spew the rhetoric of, it's like
pull yourself up by your bootstraps. That's essentially what he is saying.
He forgot where he came from, forgot what made him. And I think that he's so desperate to fit in with the group of people that he want to fit in with now that don't represent the mass group of people.
And they don't give a fuck about him. They use him to say the things that they know if they said they would get flack for. He getting flack, but not as much flack as if somebody white said this shit. That he being used the same way Stacey Dash was, and you see what the fuck happened when they didn't need her no more. Put out and gone now. Like, I just don't understand, Ben.
It's just like if you see them videos on YouTube where black people be talking shit about black people, and all you see under the comments is I agree. Just
White
a bunch of
folk.
white
Yeah.
people. I agree, because they can't say it.
Yep.
And so they use black people as the Trojan horse
Pretty
for
much.
bullshit that
Yeah.
they wish they could say but can't. They just get a black person that agree with their way of thinking and say this is right. Not to mention that that's the only black person you've been able to find in 5 or 6 years that would say that
Yep.
shit. They don't look at all black people experiences and say, you know, I may need to rethink my understanding because their vantage point is this. They be like, I found one black person with my vantage point.
Yep.
So I'm going to use that to believe what I want to believe.
Yup.
The fuckery.
Ridiculous. So in y'all know I ain't got no kids. And I'm older, and the older that you get and you start trying to have kids as a woman, there's a lot more that comes with that. So I saw this story about this couple that tried for 17 years to conceive and were unsuccessful until here recently. Well, when they finally conceived, they conceived sextuplets. And that it means that they had 6 babies at one time. And let me just tell you something. Because I'm probably going to be around 35, 36 when I have my first kid. If I had sextuplets, I would be mad as fuck. You hear me? I would be like, can we just take this one? Or maybe these 2, and then y'all can find homes for these 4, because we kind of didn't sign up for this.
You signed the
I
fuck
did
up
not
for
sign
it.
up for no 6 babies.
If you have sex, you signing up for all the potential shit that can come along with it.
Sextuplets never happened naturally. They were doing a bunch of fertility treatments because they were having so much trouble, and that's why they ended up with
Then
sextuplets.
if you choose to do fertility treatments that in the minimal chances can end up in sextuplets, you are signing up for that shit.
Well, guess what? Adoption is real. I can't do you understand that's 6, babies already don't sleep through the night when you bring them home. You already know that you have to get up at like every 2 hours to feed them. It's 2 of you, right? So that's 4 hands. You got 6 babies that are going to be crying at the same time. You going to have 6 babies that sometimes going to need to be changed. Pampers going to need to be changed at the same time. That means you're going to have 6 kids that terrible too at the same time. You're going to have 6 kids going off to kindergarten at the same time. You're going to have and figuring out how to make friends and lose friends. And they like Susie, but they don't like me. And mommy, why they don't like me, but they like John. And then you're going to have 6 teenagers at the same damn time. And you're going to have 6 high school graduations at the same time, and 6 tuitions potentially at the same time, and then 6 college graduations at the same time. And then who the fuck knows which of these little niggas are gonna want to go on and get more education than just that is a fucking lot of money.
Not to mention, you gonna like 3 of them a lot, and the other 3 you ain't gonna like at all. But you gotta pretend like you like all of them the same. That happens.
I could imagine that. Like, that's just a lot. Like, I would like to think that, Jesus knows me enough to know that I don't know that that's something I could take. 6 kids at one. Oh my God.
Well, Jesus said he ain't gonna put you through nothing you can't handle.
Exactly. So he know I can't handle no.
But if he put you through it, you can handle it. You just don't believe it.
6 kids and 2 dogs. Well, yeah, because Kingston will probably still be around. 6 kids and 2 dogs. Yeah. And then I can't even imagine what being pregnant with 6 kids was like for her. Like, I already feel like I'm going to probably be the pregnant lady that my husband is like, I can't wait till she had these goddamn kids because she getting on my nerves. Mm-hmm. Like, I feel like that's already going to be the case. To have 6 babies kicking at you and all of this shit. That just sounds awful.
They probably going to be kicking each other more than kicking you.
Do you know how tightly spaced that is? Any movement that happen, I feel like you're going to feel that shit. It's 6 of them in there. Your stomach only going to get so damn big, and you still got organs and shit that's got to be in there.
That's what makes childbirth so magical.
Is it magical?
Yes.
That sounds like a nightmare.
It's biological, but it's what bonds you to your
It
children.
sounds like a nightmare. It sounds like a 9-month
nightmare that a bunch of women endure.
I just feel like Jesus knows I ain't one of them women. So I hope when I get ready to have kids that I don't have trouble conceiving. And if I do, I don't know, because then I got a decision to make whether or not I want to take the chance of what could every time you see somebody that has multiples, like more than twins, I think triplets can occur naturally, but I think that's it. Anything more than that, and it's usually a result of fertility treatments that the couple use. And so that make me be like, well, if I can't do it on my own, maybe this Jesus telling me I don't need to have no
But why you keep
kids.
saying Jesus? Jesus the middleman.
Oh God, whatever. But ain't Jesus is, who died for us, and so,
Jesus like the help.
Well, exactly. And the help is who you see. You don't see the man up top. You see the help. So,
But
Jesus,
the help don't, he just
you
the
know,
mediator.
everybody already probably thinks we heathen as fuck from last week episode. Do you want to do this again?
We got comment on Twitter.
What did they say?
Justin Ruff from Ruff's Rambling Podcast said to us on Twitter, "You all inspired me. My next pod, I take on the question, can you question God?"
But you don't know what his spiritual journey is at, because he may be just as agnostic as fuck as we are, and then that would, I feel
Or
like
he might be extremely religious and be asking himself, can he question God because he don't think he should?
I mean, in my experience, extremely religious people don't question
All I'm
God.
saying is it inspired somebody.
Okay, and maybe it inspired other
For
people.
some reason. Right? Thank you for that, Justin Ruff.
Thank
Assuming
you
that your
very
name
much,
is Justin. It's at Justin Ruff on Twitter. Podcast groupie number 1.
That's hilarious. But I just don't. That just sounds like a nightmare to me. 6 little kids at once. I get
I mean, it absolutely is a nightmare.
like
And I'm just saying that you sign up for it when
I
you
ain't
do stuff
signed
that
up for shit.
when you do stuff that could potentially lead to that.
Which is why, like I said, if I have trouble conceiving, I'm gonna have to think real hard before we do some fertility type shit, because the most I'm willing to deal with at once is twins. And the only reason I'm willing to deal with twins is because I always said if I had kids, I would want 2. And that's 2, and we done. I ain't got to be pregnant ever again. I ain't got to go through all of this shit. 1 pregnancy and we out. So I could do twins. Anything more than that, I am not, because everything is so much. You got to have enough clothes, baby clothes for 3 babies, and then they 3 different little individuals, and they gonna probably be maybe 3 different sizes, so you can't even share fucking clothes, because I got to buy your big ass something different because your sibling's smaller than you. It just sounds terrible. So fertility treatments, I feel like it's something you really have to think long and hard about, because it significantly ups the possibility that you're going to have multiples. And usually it ain't multiples as in 2. It's multiples as in 6 or 7 or 8, like the Octomom. I ain't got time for that shit. That is crazy as fuck. Whole life just... Ugh. Then the kids gonna be wanting to be involved. You got 2 that's doing soccer, 1 that may be a cheerleader, somebody want to do dance. It's too much.
Listen, that's cash crop. One of your kids is gonna be rich.
You got to get
one
there
of your kids
first.
is gonna buy you a house, and it's all gonna be worth it in the
You
end.
got to get them there first.
What, you gonna kill him?
I'm not saying that, but I'm saying you looking at the pot of gold at the end of it ain't even a rainbow. A pot of gold at the end of some rapids. The pot of gold at the end of a fucking tsunami. Like,
Look, you could do that. What is it? Albert Ellis? Who did that shit on? Which one of the psychiatrists said, if you give me a kid, I can make him whatever I want to make him. I can make him a criminal. I don't think it ain't Albert Ellis. It was somebody diabolical.
That sound like some fucking Freud shit.
Yeah, it's somebody diabolical.
Yeah.
The motherfucker that was behind them Lil Albert experiments. With the rabbit.
Oh.
They show him a rabbit, then like do some horrifying shit and terrify him. Whoever did that experiment, I think he the one that said it.
Yeah.
But you can make your kids great from trauma if you want to. They're gonna be like, I never want to be like that. I'm gonna get rich.
Cause we gonna be poor as fuck. Trying to feed. Dude,
Your husband might be wealthy. I mean, well off.
They did not look wealthy. They look, I don't want to be stereotypical. They looked like they're from somewhere in Africa. Like they weren't, they looked African.
They look like they're going to be on them commercials.
Would not have said that. They just look African. I'm going to leave it at that. Okay. So that would just be a lot. I feel like that would put a heavy strain on my marriage. Because now we got to figure out how we gon' see. It ain't no, he ain't getting up to help me feed these fucking kids. Like, you gonna have to get up. We gonna have to both get up. Ain't no laying down. Ain't no sleeping. We gonna have to both get up because there's too many of them. And then with that many kids, it ain't no way in the world I would be able to breastfeed. So that means we gotta buy this expensive ass formula. Like, it just sounds terrible. Godspeed to them, and I'm glad they finally, they 17 years, if you keep trying, that means you really, really want a kid. So I'm glad they were able to conceive, but shit.
I got you. Would you drink a Bill Cosby special at your favorite bar?
No, I would not. And if I went out with somebody that ordered that shit for me, I'm leaving immediately.
So this restaurant had some specials, and they had a drink called Bill Cosby.
What pills in it, or what looked like pills?
It looked like
capsules.
It like red on white on one side, white on the other side. And I think it was just somebody that thought they were being silly.
That's
what they said
silly.
in their statement was, we were trying to raise awareness for rape and date rape drugs.
He full of shit, or she full of shit, or whoever made that statement is full of shit. No, you thought that this would be a way for you to profit off of this bullshit by making this drink that you thought everybody was gonna come in and order, and then you got this backlash. So now all of a sudden you some kind of rape survivor activist. The fuck out of here.
What you did was create liability for yourself.
Hell yeah.
Because if somebody used the Bill Cosby drink and actually drugged it, they could blame your ass for it. They could be like, that. That's how the drink was. It was supposed to knock her ass out. It was supposed to knock her out.
Oh my God.
Like,
this is the stupidest thing ever. Why would you do that?
motherfuckers is using Bill Cosby for as much as they can get from him. I think his trial just finna start, and they say more people done came out about that junk.
I mean, at this point, Bill Cosby on his last good leg. I still think the actual victim should be able to get some justice, but have you seen him lately?
Yeah,
He got one foot in the grave.
legally blind. This stuff done killed him. I mean, he was finna put a show up before
He
this.
was, but he got one foot in the grave now.
Yeah.
Or either that, or he's like the most amazing actor in the world, which it might be. Look, he may be found not guilty and come out of that bitch backflipping like, gotcha, bitches.
Bill Cosby didn't even act good as Heathcliff Huxtable. He was just a silly ass fucker. That's all he was. Making faces, dancing crazy and shit.
Yeah, Ghost Dad was terrible too.
Yeah, Ghost Dad. The only shit that he did, I wouldn't even say he did good in them old ass 70s movies. You know, Bill Cosby was just Bill Cosby. Yeah. He made the damn Fat Albert and the Crew.
Oh yeah.
You know, so motherfuckers gave him a chance, and he did some good shit. You know, so it's really hard to see his legacy diminishing as somebody who really wanted to model after Heathcliff Huxtable. Which I don't think modeling after Heathcliff Huxtable is bad, because if I can have a wife that's out here as a lawyer, providing us with a good ass life, and I can see clients in the bottom of my house,
yeah,
shit. I don't know who you think I is. If you think I won't be a good ass house husband with a little business on the side, fuck you. You don't think I'd do that?
House husband.
You know,
hilarious.
You can model after Heathcliff Huxtable. Don't model.
No, don't model Bill Cosby, but Heathcliff Huxtable, absolutely.
I feel like after after the show was over, like every episode was over, he took his sweater off with a shirt that said "I'm a bad motherfucker" on it, and just threw some sunglasses on, and was like, "Which one of y'all bitches coming with me to the bar?" I feel like that's what he did after every show now. It really fucked up my perception of the difference between Heathcliff Huxtable and Bill Cosby, because I used to think Bill Cosby used to lead the set and was Heathcliff Huxtable in his life. Now that motherfucker done took off his sweater, got on a bad motherfucker shirt, got on his motorcycle with a cigarette in his mouth, going down the interstate doing 120 miles per hour.
Yeah.
That's the difference in how I feel about it now.
That is hilarious.
It's fucked up.
It is fucked up. So Lupita, I don't know if y'all saw this, but there was a picture from Fashion Week with Lupita and Rihanna on it, and Rihanna had her sunglasses on, Lupita had her little nerd glasses on. They look very cute. So somebody captioned the photo and said it looked like they're about to star in a movie where Lupita is the tech smart best friend and Rihanna is the woman who be finessing these men out of their money, and people were like, oh my god, that would make an amazing movie. Oh my god, they should make that into a movie, and they should get Ava DuVernay to do the script. And and Lupita tweeted to Rihanna and was like, "I'm down. You with it, Ree?" And Rihanna was like, "Yep." I forgot what she called Lupita. But so now apparently the shit is about to actually happen. They are going to star in a movie where Rihanna is going to be this woman who finesse men out of their money, and Lupita going to be her really smart best friend that helps her do it.
Well, what I hope don't happen is Ava DuVernay start using her powers for evil. That's what I hope don't happen, because it's hard to see how you gonna make this particular movie like something that's relevant to the black experience. You know, because the movies that she been doing are relevant to the black experience. Yeah. You know, when you talk about the 13th, the documentary that she did, Selma.
I feel like this is a way for her to do a more comedic version of the black experience. Those have been very hard, very serious, drama-based movies, and this would not be. This would be like a chick flick comedy.
What if it turns out
shit.
to be something that like represents the dynamic between black relationships and black interaction? Somehow, I just don't know how you're gonna make a character that just swindles men out of money and make it look positive on the black experience. And I wouldn't expect her to make this color neutral. I wouldn't expect her to make it seem like, you know, they just two women that's doing this thing. Like, them being black would have to be a part of the identity of the show or the movie.
I mean, I don't see it going. I mean, it ain't gonna be Baps. Baps was a
Baps light.
And I don't think it's gonna be Baps like. I mean, Rihanna hood as fuck, like in her real life. So I don't know how hood her character is gonna be, but I feel like there's a way to do that without making fun of the black experience and without excluding the black experience.
Well, I tell you, her character don't need to be like she is in real life. Need to be lighter than that. Rihanna's legitimately hood.
Hell yeah, she smoke weed and yeah.
So like, I'm just saying.
Could be like, bitch, have you seen the video for Bitch Better Have My Money?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just my only thing is the gap between what Ava DuVernay has offered versus what the plot of this situation looked like. I'm just interested in seeing how that would play out.
But this would be more of a fiction. She hadn't done fiction. The movies that you just described were not fictional. So she couldn't be creative with it at all because there are stories that exist already.
And I might be guilty of being one of those people in this particular moment that has grown a level of expectation from her that I shouldn't have, because now I've put her on this level of social responsibility that I think that she gonna be trying to tell the black people's story through visual arts.
Yeah, but I think she can do that sometime and not be stuck at doing that all the time. There's not going to be a way for her to do that through a movie about somebody swindling folks.
Well, let me put it like this. I don't want to see no coons like some Tyler Perry movies be out here having.
I don't think it's going to be cooning. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think, because she ain't, Tyler Perry obviously has his own issues, deep-rooted issues with black men, and so therefore that translates very well into his movies. And so black men are like these demons, especially y'all dark-skinned brothers. The light-skinned man comes to save the day.
We done talked about you dragging me into this bullshit.
You are a dark-skinned man, though.
You talked about it in the context of bullshit.
No, in the context of Tyler Perry movies. Obviously, all dark-skinned men in real life. I'm saying in Tyler Perry's mind, you is included in that, because in his mind, dark-skinned men are the devil and light-skinned men are angelic. Obviously, that's not the case. So I feel like because of his own life experiences, that's why his movies turn out the way. Obviously, Ava DuVernay has a more healthy view, and she has a more healthy view of like the black experience because of the things she chooses to make. There's nothing about her movie choices that would make me feel like she's gonna go the coon route with this. Now, Tyler Perry, again, everything he's done has the same fucking central theme through it. Black men, dark black men ain't shit. Light black men are great. And women are, victims of this. That's been the thread through all of his shit.
Maybe it'd be better if she swindled the white man out of their money.
But would that not be... Is that the black experience? You feel like that would be...
I don't know. I feel like it'll be a slight to, white men that fetishize black women.
I feel like that probably will be included, and I think it's just going to be rich men of all backgrounds, probably. But with the white man, I can see it being because they just won't... They fetishize black women, and so they're willing to pay because of that. But I feel like with her, it's gonna be a variety of men. I don't think she's just gonna be she gonna be swindling rich men. Cause what the fuck would be the point of trying to swindle somebody who ain't got shit? So
we'll see.
We'll see.
So there's this neo-Nazi. It's a white guy, which is pretty much the definition of neo-Nazi.
Oh yeah, you can't be anything
you
other.
can be white without being a neo-Nazi, but if you're a neo-Nazi, you're white. And for some reason, don't know why, he decided to convert to Islam. Just change his religion. I mean, neo-Nazism isn't a religion. I don't know if neo-Nazis look at neo-Nazism like it's a religion, but it's not a religion.
Can you be a neo-Nazi and have religion with considering what you believe?
Yeah. You can have religion.
Okay.
You're a neo-Nazi.
All right.
You can pray for God to help you kill the niggas. Now, whether he will answer your prayers or not, that's up to God. That's God's. He get to make that decision.
But
you can pray for whatever you want to.
I know, but
I mean, I've been told that you're gonna go to hell in some instances anyway. I mean, so calling yourself a Christian and praying, like I wonder if slave masters are in heaven because they prayed to God and praised to God every day. You know, like, does what you do? Are we gonna go up there and like, or maybe they're like in an isolated part of heaven where it's like conditional entrance.
But I don't think you can do things against what God told you to do, even if you are praying to him while you're doing it. That's like saying, well, I prayed all the time. Yeah, I was out here stealing shit and killing folks, but I was praying constantly while I was doing it. I don't think that, considering what they did to the people under their care, I don't think them praying gonna get them out of... Because then they would have to have repented for they didn't believe what they were doing wrong, so that the repentance that's required would not be met.
But I think that matters. I think perception matters, though. Like, what if they believed that the Bible at the time was reinforcing what they was doing, and they believed that what they was doing was right and within God's word? Like, did that make a difference to God?
I don't think it does. It can't, because anybody could use that as like, well, this is what I believed. I was going by what I believed.
Well,
meant.
They could do that in the court of law. But
you can't do that with God.
That's what I'm saying. God know your heart. So if he know that you really misperceived it and you really thought that you were doing what you're supposed to do for the times, does that make a difference?
I don't think it does.
I mean, I think that's why it's good that the Bible say once you go to heaven, you forget everybody.
I was just finna say, because you know what? Heaven would just be like earth again. You had white people up there mad as fuck and not wanting to be around the black folks up there. Like, if that was the case and you were able to go up there with those kind of biases, instead of looking at humans as humans the way God looks at us all like humans, you got favorites or you got these biases, heaven would just be like earth. You might as well just live forever and stay down here. It's supposed to be better when you go up there, and I don't know that racist ass people would make heaven a better place.
Black folks in heaven trying to trick their wings out, get their wings hooked up, get gold lace on their wings, spinners on the tips.
Oh God!
White people trying to take other people's wings.
Yep.
You know,
his wings are bigger than mine. We're going to get them. We should have the biggest wings.
Exactly.
Just because we're white. But neo-Nazi in Islam, I wouldn't put that together.
So this man he converted to Islam from whatever he was. And he was roomed with a bunch of like neo-Nazi friends. Like,
which makes sense that they wouldn't be here for it.
Hey, we're all friends. We all hate everybody but white people.
Yeah.
We want the white race to excel at the cost of everybody else. Let's be friends. Let's be roommates.
Yeah.
What they didn't expect is for their partner to turn into to be like, look, I'm a Muslim now, okay? I am a part of the Nation of Islam. See, that's black. See, that black. They wouldn't let him in there. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know why I identify Assalamu alaikum with the black movement of like the Nation of Islam situation. But I don't know what it say. He converted to Islam. I don't know the depths of the religion.
Regardless of the depths, I feel like that wouldn't go with neo-Nazism, and so they're gonna have
definitely.
a problem with it.
So they was mad about it, and they started making fun of his religion. He shot him in the head.
Oh, fuck.
He participated in reverse terrorism.
Wow.
The first instance of reverse terrorism. That's real insensitive to say.
It is.
Like, technically that'll be normal terrorism because he was a Muslim.
Like,
he was just white.
I just don't. funny how people will push something they believe on somebody else. If this was the thing that you believed yourself, what's hilarious about this is you were believed in neo-Nazism. You were hardcore neo-Nazi, so much so that you wanted to live with other people of like-mindedness. You change your mind. They haven't changed their mind. They still believe in the thing you used to believe in, and you get mad because they still believe, vehemently in that thing, and you shoot them because they got a problem with you changing.
No, I think what it means is that when he was a neo-Nazi, if a Muslim would have been talking about his religion, he would have shot them in the head twice too. I think that he was gonna shoot he was gonna shoot somebody and he was gonna shoot two people in the head at some point in his life. Okay. I don't know what the reason would have been. Maybe it would have been because he got cut in the line at McDonald's. Maybe it would have been for a bunch of other reasons. But what happened was he went to a bookstore and held 3 people hostage. And then they got him. And he turned himself into the police after that. And the other roommate that they had that wasn't there at the time, he got arrested after all of this happened because they searched his home garage. He ended up having bombs and stuff to make bombs anyway. And they found dialogue on the internet. Like, that neo-Nazi shit scary, man, because you don't know how many people walking through the mall with you.
Yep.
That's over here next to you that's like,
nigga,
got bombs
yeah.
and they bomb plans in their garage and they for you.
Yeah. Like, prison gonna be hard for him. Prison gonna be real hard for him because there's like a huge like neo-Nazi faction within the prison system, and I feel like there is also a huge faction of like Islam, but like I don't think the Islamic people gonna welcome his ass. Like, and then you gonna be on the outs with the neo-Nazis from the moment you step foot in there because you killed 2 of they. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, prison gonna be difficult for him. I feel like that's a very interesting dynamic with which to go into prison, because a lot of people join neo-Nazis to like for the safety that it gets, because you got this protection of this group. That's why most people join a lot of groups, even with the Islamics in prison. People join that group for protection. You on the outs with both of these groups, like.
Well, he fucking up.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be bad for him in prison.
The last thing I got is a 7th grader received the most likely to become a terrorist award from their teacher.
These teachers are fucking up. You fucking your students, and now you calling your students terrorists.
I mean, you know how many teachers exist?
I know, but shit, these are
normal,
huge things.
The normal worst case scenario of teachers is they just not good teachers.
Yeah.
Your kid's still stupid after they leave the class. The extreme worst case scenario is that they tell your kid they the most likely to be a terrorist, or they fuck them
and give them candy for kisses. Wow. And like, the teacher really didn't think that anybody was going to be upset. The teacher really thought that this child was going to take this award home to her parents, and her parents were going to be like, oh, that's cute. Like, in what world did this seem like a good idea? I don't understand. Like,
this shit, like, it create terrorists. Because a part of me want to go terrorize your ass now. Oh, flang your tires. You know what? I wouldn't even flang your tires. You know what I'm saying?
Your petty ass.
No, this is enroll in the school and Mr. On Point's pettiness. I wouldn't even flatten the tires. I set that shit up like Saw. I just put some little, nails right at the front of your tire, so when you move, it flatten your tire. So I don't even get no charge, bruh. You just rolled over some nails that happen to be positioned at a very specific point that if you moved your car, your tires was gonna burst. Oh my God. Boom, bitch. Get that shit to my kids.
Again, imagine being a parent. You knew it was award day. Maybe you couldn't come because you had to work, but you excited. Like, what awards did you get? Show me. And then they pull out this shit that say most likely to become a terrorist. I'm going up to the school the next day, and I'm gonna turn this shit like, are you fucking? That you might as well get. Well, it wouldn't be most likely to become a terrorist. You would give my child most likely to go to prison, I guess. Most likely to become a robber.
They look Latino. They look Latino.
Now, their last name, though. Did you see her name?
I didn't see her name.
Her name is, they not Latino.
Damn, they look Latino.
They ain't, because their last name.
Because the whole time I was like, terrorist? What the fuck? They don't look.
That last name, one of the family, like the mom or the dad maybe is the only one, and maybe one of the parents is Hispanic, but that last name is not Hispanic.
They probably would have gave me most likely to be in your children's lives or some shit.
No, that's something positive.
I know
Obviously,
it's positive, but the fact that you have to do that it's a slight to the whole culture, not just you. It's like a slight to black people in general.
True. You're assuming there ain't nobody else you most likely to be. The rest of these niggas won't
Yeah.
be. I don't think that one. I mean, even with the ones in high school, like when you graduate, I was most intelligent. I think that's what, I don't even fucking remember because it wasn't that big of a deal to me. But you know, the senior class, they always did that where you were either most likely to, or you were most quiet, most whatever. I got most intelligent, I think. But we had one that was like that caused my friend some problems because she got was it biggest flirt or most likely to flirt. So her boyfriend was like, the fuck you get this award for?
Yeah.
So that caused some issues. Like they tried to make some little cute ones when I was there. It wasn't no shit like most likely to be a terrorist though. But we did have some unconventional ones.
I was nominated for most quietest in the school.
That. Yeah.
But I don't want shit. Like I wanted to be invisible in school for real. I didn't want nobody to know I existed.
I think at the time, by the time I got ready to graduate, they were on this whole everybody counts thing. And so I think the ones that were made up so that everybody could get something and you wouldn't be left out. But I didn't give a fuck. Like I didn't care if I got anything or not. But like I feel like our whole senior class had some kind of representative. You were something. And I think they created these things so everybody could be something. But again, there was no shit like most likely to be a terrorist or most likely to be a single mother.
I mean, it's a way to make this a little bit sillier without being offensive, you know. Clearly, if you do some silly ones that are negatively connotated, it's going to be a problem.
Yeah.
Like, they could have did, like, most likely to lose your hairline before you 30. That would have applied to me, you know. I wouldn't have liked getting it. And I wouldn't have believed it because I had braids and shit. I would have been like, niggas tripping. I got hair for days.
That would have been sad. I won't say it would have been hilarious. It would have been sad. But I don't know, man. Like, schools, man, these teachers just make different bad decisions. I'm not gonna say like my teachers were not the greatest, and I had some teachers that didn't do shit. I had an English class. The teacher was so like introverted and quiet and shy that like the class ran over her. The reason why I know how to play spades as good as I do is because we played spades during English class, because she wasn't gonna say nothing to. And at first, because I'm a good student, I'm trying to still like learn and shit, but like nobody else was. So eventually I was just like, deal me in.
That's how I was playing spades in class. One of our teachers was one of our white teachers was in school on Black Planet. I'm like, yeah, I'm trying to find me some fine black women.
Wow.
I'm like, bruh, he was a coach, man. Coaches ain't real teachers.
No, they not.
Coaches are 95% coach, 5% teacher.
Yeah, and they only teach because the school requires them to have some kind of a class when they coach. So,
and coaching and teaching are two different things.
Very different.
Coaching is active. Teaching is passive.
Yep.
You know, so if you put somebody that has an active style in a passive environment, they not gonna be there well. Like all my coaches, I just remember passing out handouts for us to do.
Yeah.
And sitting up there doing whatever the fuck they was doing on their desk.
Yeah.
And see, me, I had this thing where I always clear my throat, and my coach couldn't stand that. I don't know what the fuck it was. He in the health class, he'll always tell me, go get some water. Like 5 times a class. I'm like, I think this is something else. I don't think water is gonna resolve this. I think this is gonna, persist. It's happened for us sometime.
I mean, I don't know. I will say teachers were different. It ain't that they were so much greater, but I feel like I didn't hear a lot more. And I think social media and stuff has made it to where we know a lot more about what's going on, but I don't really even remember like having the issue of hearing about teachers fucking students when I Plus, I mean, I went to school in Talladega, and you didn't want to fuck our teachers.
I think all this, like, I think the only reason we're hearing about it more is because of social media. I think social media made a big difference.
You don't think it's happening more?
I
now?
doubt it. It ain't much of shit that's happening more than it's
I
always
mean,
happened.
these kids are different now, look different. Some of these kids look older than you and me both and sitting in the 7th grade.
I think this shit probably happened as much as it used to happen.
Maybe.
It just the boundaries was different back then.
I guess.
I feel like
I mean,
what's
I
happened is
had
our access to the information is increased.
I didn't play. Everybody always tell, because I'm tall, that, you know, I should have played basketball. I didn't play basketball because our girls' basketball coach was a pervert. And I just didn't. He gave me creep vibes, so I didn't play. So that was like the most of a situation that I remember, is that he, and I mean, I don't think he may have touched somebody, but he was just inappropriate during like practices and shit, like having them do these bends and shit while he like walked around, and he was just creepy. He looked like a frog.
Teacher I used to like was named Miss Cox. She used to call me Ed Lover. And the way she said it was like, you know, it was like seductive, but she just had a voice where it was like she just spoke low, and it was like low and aggressive.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it just, I don't know. It wasn't no thing. But I didn't look at it like I wasn't like I want to have sex with my teacher. It wasn't like that. It was just like, oh, a woman is speaking to me, and it don't feel like a mama type. You know what I'm saying? It's like I wish a girl would speak to me like this.
Yeah.
It's not like so that I could do something with a girl, but not like with my teacher.
With the teacher, yeah.
Wasn't like that.
I don't know. Shit is different. Yeah.
Anyway, that's all I got.
All right. Well,
You got anything else?
fuck Katy Perry. I won't get into it, but she just took Miley Cyrus's place. She got the Miley Cyrus haircut. Now she hanging out with rappers. She's
I feel like rappers got like a psychiatrist out here that's putting them through the get out treatment.
So the white sunken place.
Yeah,
She's in
so
the white
every time a white one leave, they get a new one.
Yeah, because Miley left, they replaced her immediately with Katy, and she on stage doing these awkward ass dances, like
Looking like Donkey Kong in the show. Like, you know how the first Donkey Kong where he rolling the barrels down?
yeah.
What was the name of that shit? Was that Donkey?
Wasn't it just? I don't know.
I don't know. I saw a whole theory about that shit, like Donkey Kong and Mario. Like, Mario started off as the abusive circus master that used to whip Donkey Kong into making. It's a whole theory.
That's
He used to whip
fucked
Donkey
up.
Kong. So the very first Mario, it had him whipping Donkey Kong to do tricks and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next one, it was the same with Donkey Kong Jr., where you had to climb up the vines. He basically kidnapped his dad, and the Donkey Kong Jr. had to get up there. And Donkey Kong was supposed to be Donkey Kong saving the princess from Mario.
Oh,
So it's a whole theory about how Mario is an asshole, and it seemed to make sense.
I mean, I could believe it.
He's a plumber. He's angry
Yeah.
with his life.
Who the fuck wants to be a plumber?
Plumbers actually make really good money.
They should, if they unclogging people's shit. Ugh,
Yeah.
sounds like an icky job.
Porno plumbers make even more money. Except they don't plumb nothing but the lady.
I don't know why I'm friends with you.
Anyway, until we come to the next conversation.
We out.
Holla.